All right, today we're diving into a really unique paper. It's one of those that tries to connect pretty much everything: quantum physics, human biology, even ancient music, all into one single unified idea. It's a fascinating and frankly, wild hypothesis. So let's just jump right in.
So let's start with a bit of a riddle. Think about it for a second. What on earth could a banana, the molten core of our planet, and your own body possibly have in common?
Believe it or not, the answer is a tiny, almost ghost-like particle called the neutrino. They all emit them. And according to the hypothesis we're exploring today, this constant, invisible stream of neutrinos is the thread that connects, well, everything, from the cosmic to the biological.
So, how exactly does this framework propose to connect everything? Well, it all starts by saying that neutrinos are just the beginning. To really build this unified model, the author introduces a brand new theoretical particle.
Okay, first things first, let's break down the name for this whole framework. It's called Philfo, which is short for philosophology. The author defines this as a mix of philosophy, self-awareness, and science, ology, all guided by something called cymatics, which is the really cool science of how sound and vibration create physical patterns.
Right at the heart of this whole thing is what's called the Philfo grace particle. Now, the paper suggests it starts from the Higgs boson, the particle that gives everything else mass. But here's the real twist. This new particle can supposedly gain and lose its own mass and energy, almost at will. It's an idea that totally rethinks what a particle can even be.
And this particle isn't flying solo. The model pairs it with something called a Janus particle, which is named after that two-faced Roman god, and its job, as proposed here, is to act like a cosmic gatekeeper, controlling the flow of these Philfo particles all throughout the universe.
Okay, so we've got these new theoretical particles. Now, this is where the paper makes its most radical leap. It takes this cosmic framework and applies it directly to the human body. I mean, listen to this direct quote. The theory makes this startling comparison, that our bodies aren't just biological machines, but are actually living, breathing particle accelerators, kind of like CERN, using some kind of internal biomagnet to manage these fundamental particles.
So, just let that sink in for a second. On one side, you've got the massive Large Hadron Collider at CERN, this huge machine using incredibly powerful magnets to smash particles together. And on the other side, this model is suggesting that our own bodies are the natural equivalent, managing and emitting streams of these proposed Philfo particles.
The framework then lays out this really specific origin story for life. It suggests it's a four-step process. You start with the neutrino and the axion, which is another theoretical particle in physics, and they pass through a state called the void to create what the author calls 2D biomatter. So, if the body is a particle accelerator, you gotta ask, what's conducting the experiment? What's pulling the levers? Well, according to this paper, the answer isn't a force we can see, but one we might be able to hear: the universe's own sound and vibration.
This is where cymatics comes back in. And in this model, it's not just a cool scientific curiosity, it's a fundamental force of creation. The theory suggests that specific frequencies in musical notes are literally the architects of reality, guiding particles and telling them how to form the basic building blocks of life.
And the connection to music here gets incredibly specific. It's not just a vague metaphor. The paper draws these direct analogies, basically creating a cosmic orchestra. It says neutrinos are like a stringed rabob, axions provide the rhythm like tabla drums, and so on down the list. So you put this whole cosmic orchestra together, and what do you get? According to the author, you get the Gauguin Thal. Now, this is a concept from Eastern philosophy, but it's reimagined here as a cosmic plate of cymatics, a kind of celestial symphony in the sky that literally holds reality together. Okay, so we have new particles, we have bioaccelerators, we have cosmic music. But so what? What does any of this actually mean for us? What are the real-world implications of looking at the universe this way?
Well, for starters, the model totally reframes our existence. It lists our normal biological functions, the familiar ones. We take in oxygen, give out CO2, we eat food, we create manure. But then it adds this cosmic layer. It says we take in cosmic neutrinos and give out this 2D biomatter, actively weaving what the author calls a cosmic infinity loom of life.
And the theory gets down to some surprisingly practical and definitely unusual applications. For instance, it actually describes the human forehead as a natural turbine and suggests that the simple act of breathing could be a way for us to harvest renewable bioenergy.
And all of this is happening against this backdrop of just incredible cosmic motion. That number on your screen, over 800,000 kilometers an hour, that's how fast we're all hurtling through the galaxy. The theory says this means we are constantly passing through a celestial river of neutrinos, basically bathing us in the raw materials for this entire process.
Ultimately, this paper is just a fascinating experiment in synthesis, and it leaves us with a really provocative question that gets to the very heart of its approach. What happens? What new ideas might emerge when the languages of physics, music, and spirituality all try to describe the very same universe?